Computer, let's do that. All right. So, out with your notebooks. One sentence. Name one thing outside of yoga where you usually let the doing happen before you're actually ready. Okay. Write a sentence, one thing outside of yoga where you usually do, where you let that doing happen before you're actually ready for it. I'll give you a few seconds to write it down. Okay, give me a thumbs up on Zoom whenever you're ready, so I know how it's going for you. Or I might just have a look in the cameras and see how you're doing. One sentence, one thing outside of yoga where you usually let the doing happen before you're actually ready. Right. Next, pranayama, or breath work. We're going to do samavriti, equal breath. Samavriti, the equal breath or equal movement, matches the inhale and the exhale, the same count, without no forcing and no pause. Simple enough for a beginner, deep enough to anchor a whole year. Yeah. So the top three health benefits is that it calms down the nervous system. And you're welcome to write this down also if you want to remember this. Is sama vritti, equal breath. It calms down the nervous system. It evens that out. It helps us go into the parasympathetic nervous system, lowers the heart rate and blood pressure, and reduces the cortisol. Number two, it improves respiratory efficiency. So regular full breath cycles increase lung capacity over time and train more efficient oxygen exchange. And number three, it sharpens focus and emotional steadiness. An even breath rhythm tends to produce a more even mental state. So better present moment attention, basically, less reactivity to stress. Yeah, so nervous system, improve respiratory efficiency, and sharpen the focus and emotional steadiness. Sama vritti pranayam. So start by sitting in a comfortable position, legs crossed, upright, either if you're sitting on a pillow or just on the ground, spine long, hands on your knees or in your lap. Keep your eyes either closed or have a soft gaze down onto your lap. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, same count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going in and out through your nose. And if 4 feels easy rather than full, extend it to 5. 5 in, 5 out. Or maybe 6. But always keep the inhale and the exhale equal. If it feels like strain, shorten it back down immediately. A few more rounds. Make sure you release any tension in your jaw. Let the lips be sealed, but have a bit of spaciousness into your mouth. There's space between upper teeth and lower teeth. You're not trying to breathe more. You're trying to breathe more evenly. Let the exhale be exactly as long as the inhale. And before the breath does anything remarkable, it has to do something that's even. Few more rounds. Inhalation. Exhalation. Inhalation. And exhalation. Letting go fully. Let's start by moving our body, rolling the shoulders forward. Let your Ujjayi pranayama start. So the breath of the ocean in and out through the nose. Let the tongue float up to the roof of your mouth. And backwards. And relax, chin to chest. Big circles with head and neck. Six times. Direction. And opposite direction. 6 times. And find center. Extend your arms up, lengthen, interlace the fingers. Let the palms go straight up, elongating, lengthening through the crown of your head. Exhale, melting into your traps, your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Place your hands at the back of your head. Inhaling. Widen, open the chest. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lift, lengthen, open. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lengthen, open. And exhale, rounding. And come back to center. Release the hands down, drop the head down to one shoulder, place a hand onto the head. In and out through the nose as you drop the head down to the side, let the ear melt down to your shoulder. I'm sorry if you're starting to tense up anything in your face, in your jaw. Try to release that, but keep your lips sealed. With that opposite arm, let the palm face upwards. So have more of an open rotation. Inhalation. Exhalation. Inhalation. And exhalation. Back to center. Inhale. And exhale slowly towards the opposite side. Keep the other arm open, inviting that shoulder to open up more. In and out through the nose. Jaw relaxed. Mouth spacious. In and in. Inhalation. Exhalation. Come back to center with your head. And then release the arms. Move the chin down to the chest. Place your hands at the back of the head and then drop the head down. Let your arms be heavy. Don't push anything. Don't push the neck or head. Just let your hands hang down. Let the head and arms melt and let the gravity do the work. 6 steady breaths as you channel the breath to the back of the neck to any tension that occurs there. And that tightness, try to move out of that tightness a bit. And when you exhale, then sinking down into it. So when you feel a lot of tightness, don't push through it and don't force the inhale or the exhale to that area. Instead, just back off 10%. Inhale in that space. And then as you exhale, melting back down and deeper, maybe 10%, right? So often we kind of force it and then the body will tense up. And we think that this is just our limit often. But it's actually the body protecting us because it feels it's too much, it's too forceful. We're not going with the body, we're moving against the body. So find a little 10% to move back, create more space in that inhale, and then as you exhale, maybe sinking back in those 10%, or 5, or maybe nothing. And then when you come back up to center, rise up with the head. Place one hand onto the chest and the other hand on top. Inhale, hold the skin down. Exhale, lift the chin up. Steady breaths, lips sealed. Create more space around the throat. And back to center. All right, beautiful. We are moving on to our all fours. So hands on the shoulders, knees under hips. Let your fingers splay apart. Let your toes be tucked. And start with just anchoring through the fingertips, noticing the engagement. As you press your fingertips down, feel how with the palms of your hands become a bit lighter. Now, notice what happens if you release the pressure from your fingertips and collapse into your palms. If you really hang into the palms of your hands, maybe even to your wrist, you might feel that it feels a bit unnatural. It feels like you are tiring up your wrist a bit more. And this is us not bearing so much load. It will be even heavier in a plank or in downward facing dog. But as soon as we anchor the fingertips down, we notice there's a bit more lightness into the wrists, right? So just plugging that in here, create a length through your spine, make your torso long and wide, 360 degrees. And then find your Ujjayi breath here. Expand through the torso, in and out through the nose. In and out. In and out. Inhalation and exhalation. Now move the tailbone up, sink down to the lower back, mid back, upper back. Inhale, lift the chin up, widen the chest. As you exhale, top tailbone down and under, round through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, lengthen, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, lengthen, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, lengthen, open. And exhale, close. Find center. And then anchor through the fetus. Let your knees float off the mat. Oh, I got these pants. You can't really see the knees off. There we go. So the knees are floating just above the ground. I'm going to rough them up a bit. And then here, let your navel kiss the spine. Let your shoulders and hips, knees, and hands all be in a square. Try to lengthen through the spine, lengthen at the back of the neck so you gaze straight down, and imagine you grow tall through the crown of your head. Inhalation. Exhalation. Inhaling and exhaling. Send the hips all the way up to downward facing dog. Lengthen through your arms, through the spine, widen the chest. Send the breath to your scapula, your shoulder blades. Keep the chin a bit closer to the chest. Lift the heels, bend the knees, tiptoe all the way to the top of your mat. Folding forward and down. Folding down at the head, drop down, crown towards the floor. And then sway the head around in circles. And then the opposite direction. And find center inhalation. Exhalation. Gently press the floor away as you roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arriving into Tadasana, mountain pose. In your Tadasana, slide your shoulder blades back. So normally we just stand like this, pretty relaxed, comfortable position. And this is what I'm doing when I'm not doing anything, when I'm not trying to sun away. It's okay, but it could be better, right? Check my lower back. I could have it a bit more like this, but as I relax completely, I sink down with the belly forward a bit and the hips point out. So if I point the tailbone down, I ease that pressure from the lower back. Already that allows me, with that little adjustment, to let the breath move more in the back. If there's a lot of compression in the back, there's a lot of tightness here that a lot of us have, the breath cannot move much here, right? It'll be more here, but often we tense up the belly as well, and then it's up here in the chest. And this is where we get the shallow breath. And just shallow breathing can make us feel stressed, even though the situation is not stressful. We can almost trick our body to feel this way. So a lot is just a foundation, right? It's not about being super bendy or flexible to be able to do something and then feel like we get the benefits out of it if we don't have the foundation of it. So Tadasana, you find in every active yoga practice. But we want to point the tailbone, like if I pull my pants here, I'm pointing it down, almost like hello Michael Jackson movement here. Yeah. I don't want to overdo it, but just directing it down. As I direct it down, I splay my toes apart. I keep my feet about hip width distance. If you're pregnant, you'll stand with the feet wider. But otherwise, pointing straight down. Now, if you're in a class and you look around, you'll see the women and men, if they stand hip width distance, it will look a bit different also because men, you guys have more narrow hips naturally, while women's biology are built different for different purposes. So they are wider. So there's people coming from the Ashtanga practice, for example, or Iyengar practice, where feet are together. You might have seen that a lot of starting in classes like this, ending like this, but the practice actually comes from the foundation or the base of male anatomy only. There is ways to use this position for women. Also, we can lift through the mula bandha, the pelvic floor, and hug the legs in. But it doesn't feel as natural in our bodies as women as for you men, for example, because we are built wider here. So we need more space for our hip structure. Now, if you come into that Tadasana and you've sorted out your lower back, the core is gently engaged. It's almost like you do this sound, the S sound, and then you notice that creates a little bit of engagement in the core, but it is not a super tense like core exercise, right? So just that tiny little engagement you want to have there. So we pointed the tailbone down, we create more space through the lower back, we engaged through the core. Now, when we do that, sometimes this happens, that the chest now is so tight, the muscles here needs to kind of balance it out because lengthening back here becomes tighter up here. So we lift the chest up, but only to the level where we can still maintain that long lower back. If we open the chest more, like in a back bend, for example, we do this. Notice that my lower back collapsed straight away. If I put my tailbone down, this is the lower back supporting the upper back. Here, this is already a back bend. Looks like I'm just moving the arms back, but this is already back because I'm bending back in my upper spine. Now we can always go deeper, but it needs to be from the upper back rather than doing this. This is going from your lower back, which is actually possibly very harmful for you. Looks like this. It looks much bendier, but it's actually not that beneficial because you're just overdoing what's already mobile and you're not letting the tightness open up. You're kind of skipping that step. Right? So it's like saying you speak a language, a new language with a person, but you're just using Google Translate. So you're kind of, doing it, but you're not doing it from your own knowledge. So it's not helpful. Now when we're going to Tadasana, we sorted out most of it. We want to check at the shoulders and the chest. We can still have a straight spine, but then sometimes the tightness is in our shoulders. The chest is lifting up, the tailbone's pointing down, and if I lift my arms, it looks pretty straight here. But then it's the shoulder, rotator, right? So closer up. Are they like this more, your arms? Are they more like this? Or are they like this? So notice what you feel depending on where your hand is. Imagine that you're not thinking about your hands, but just trying to open up the chest and shoulders. Already here, notice my hands. Here, I'm not doing it. The front of the hands are to be seen here. Here, I'm trying to open up my chest. Now it's more the side of my hands, the medial part of the thumb area, right? And if I try to open up a lot, notice the palms of my hands facing. So that's why we usually say in yoga, palms facing forward. But if you just rotate the hands like this, notice not much is happening in the shoulders. We actually want to tell people to open up fully through the shoulders. This, not this, right? So this is where we're going towards. But again, we're not overdoing it. So here, finally, we're closer. We're not yet there, but we're closer to Tadasana. Now, if we anchor through the soles of the feet, you can lengthen more through the crown of your head. Keep the knees micro bend and elongate through the spine. So imagine that you want to let your head, the top of it, to reach to the ceiling without tensing up the body or coming up onto your toes. So how can you lengthen without making almost any movement. And then you start noticing, but I'm barely doing anything and I can't get anywhere. And notice where the tightness is, try to soften into that. Inhale as you exhale, just keep lengthening a bit more through the crown of your head. Notice all the other points of your lower back, your chest, your shoulders, your hands, the micro bend in your knees. And there we have it, active Tadasana. Standing like this, holding this position for 10 breaths is more challenging than just holding your regular Tadasana, which is maybe very passive, or the one that's a bit overdoing, right? So right here, Tadasana. Now take only 3 breaths here, in and out through the nose. Noticing the sensations. One more breath in and out. From here, we anchor to the soles of the feet. Send the arms all the way up, palms together. Center head and neck look straight forward. Now keep your palms tight together. Don't lock the fingers or thumbs. Just try to press the center of your hands in. And then drop your shoulders down. Inhale. As you exhale, imagine you want to tan your heart. And the sun is pretty high up in the sky. So you lift the chest first up. And the more you lift it up, you notice you're actually starting to bend back. We're building up space here around the upper chest. There's not much of a bending from the lower back, but it's more of a directing the chest up. Inhalation, this is already enough. You don't have to go much further. Exhalation, slowly come back to center by imagining that you're moving the spine into more straight position and then lengthen through your body. Bowing forward and down. Release your hands down, fold forward. Let your fingertips be just beneath your shoulders. Lengthen as you inhale to your flat back. Now keep your knees micro bent. Here, with your hands, maybe even place them onto your hips. And then imagine that you're pushing the hips back. You can even put your thumbs around your hip crease, and then the rest of your fingers more on your glutes. And then the thumbs are pushing the hips back, so you're telling your butt to go further back. Now you splay the toes and you keep them micro bent. As you keep plugging the big thumbs into your hip crease, move the shoulders further away from the ears. Lengthen your neck. Keep your nose pointing down, so you extend the back of the neck, and then reach the crown of your head forward. Steady breath here. Either place your hands just beneath your your kneecaps, so hands flat onto your knees or on your shin bones. But keep the chest open. Again, same shoulder rotation here as in Tadasana. And exhale, hold it in and out through the nose. Imagine there's a little rubber band between navel and spine. And don't forget your breath here, your Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. Option, if you practice quite a lot and you're used to doing your Tadasana with your forward fold with a straight spine, you can do so. So what you do is to first move your hands away from your legs and then see if you can keep that same straight spine and keep the posture by letting the fingers touch the floor. Now, some of us feel like this is too much. The hamstrings will say no. You can bend the knees a bit more in that case. And then maybe place all fingertips onto the ground. But it's actually not worth it coming down on your back like this if your back's with your hands down on the floor, if your back's on your rounders or your leg starts locking. Then it's better to keep that straight spine with the hands on your shin bones. So again, thumbs can point the hips back, length to the spine, and we breathe here. Now imagine that you have so much space around your torso now. So as you do your Ujjayi breath, you're really holding up, building space around your scapula, around your ribs. You're lengthening and holding that. In and out through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhalation and exhalation. From here, bend your knees. Sit down into a malasana. Keep your toes and knees pointing to the same direction. So outwards, away from you, hands to heart center. Now if you feel like it's tricky, come up onto your heels and then stand on toes. Point the elbows down, length through the crown, or keep your elbows at the inside of your inner thighs between the knee and your hips. In and out here through the nose. Jaw relaxed. Lengthening the back of your neck. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now release your body fully forward. Collapse forward. Have a pull posture and just round the spine. Now when you're creating more tightness or you're decreasing the space in the front of your chest, but you are opening up more at the back, can you send that breath? Maybe even doing that equal samavriti, equal in and equal out to your back. So focusing on channeling the breath to this area. It will still happen here, not as much, but focus on breathing to the back. Nice, keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhalation. And exhalation. Beautiful. From here, we're going to the next position. So gently lengthen through your spine. From your hanging down position, come up. Reach your arms forward, sit down to your butt, and then lengthen the legs. As you have your legs extended, move the butt cheeks away from the sit bones. We're going into detail of a spinal twist and then a bhujangasana. How everything begins with the breath and how position is basically, in my opinion, pointless without that breath awareness. You're not getting much of it, right? So we're going slowly through these two. So we keep the legs extended as it's a comfortable, more easier version. Hug one knee in, and then we start with the right foot. Place that outside of your left leg. Now some of us will bend the other leg, and that's slightly different version, but we'll keep it straight this time. So when you anchor through that straight leg, it also communicates with the spine. So you lengthen through the leg and you reach, imagine the sole of your foot forward. As you reach it forward with a gentle flex, you notice what happens to your spine. If you stop reaching and relax the leg fully, what happens to your spine? Notice now with my foot, my leg, and my spine, how they all communicate. My leg is telling my spine to lengthen. If I force and go against it, I will feel like I'm not doing what my body is telling me to do because it feels the signals going through. If I release that pressure from the foot, I sink down. That's why I see a lot of people having a not active lower leg, and then they just hug the other leg with the arm, and then they're here, closed shoulder, and then they're twisting, looking back. Their spine is rounded, and they might even sit more further back on the glute. And here, like spinal twist. I'm like, yes, I'm doing it. No, I'm sorry, but you're not. Right? So what you want to do is instead lengthen through that leg. That tells the spine to erect. Here, I feel like my breath kind of blowed me up into a balloon. I feel like my upper body almost wants to sit like a ballerina. And then with my hands, I can help my leg closer to the body. But I don't move the body closer to the leg. Because the foundation is the spine. So we move things towards our spine. Now, left arm wraps around the right leg. First, I lengthen the right arm up to tell my spine to keep traveling upwards. Here, we breathe in and out through the nose. Now, we move the right arm back, 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 and we guide ourselves to look at that right hand. So many times you hear people say, or teachers, that you should look towards your fingertips. And it's actually to help your spine and your gaze and the nervous system settle into that position with more steadiness. But sometimes it's not just the steadiness, but even just being able to go to the right alignment. So as you keep looking towards the right hand, the further back you look, the further you notice that the arm also goes. Your arm can go further than your eyes often. Inhalation. Keep moving the arm far back. Look at it all the time. Exhalation. And then release the hand behind you, but keep it pretty close. If you have the hand too far away, chances are you want to lean onto it. Then you're not connected with the spine again. But if you keep the arm a little bit closer, push the hand down, extend the arm. It's almost like your spine has this corset, or like when you have plants at home and you need to give them a stick to lean onto. I have a few of those. I need to buy a stick to let that big plant lean onto it and wrap it around. And so the arm is the stick. Your spine is the plant that sometimes bend too much. And here it needs support from that stick, from your right arm. Keep rotating over your right shoulder, inhalation, and exhalation. And here we're in much more straight position. And release, come back to center. Same thing here, we try on the opposite side. Lengthen the right leg out. If you need to, just shake it off. Hug the left knee in, give it a little squeeze. Place it outside the right leg. The whole foot is on the floor. Move the knee towards the chest. Notice what happens when your right leg is a bit floppy and you don't hold the legs at all. The spine can also want to lean in, right? But as you lengthen to the sole of your foot, lengthen, create a extended, long leg. Your spine wants to continue. I release the pressure from the right leg. I feel like my spine just want to collapse. I extend through that right leg. Even my neck and my head follows that adjustment because it's all connected. All right, here I give that left knee a little bit of a hug again. I wrap my right arm around the left. Send the left arm straight up through the spine, through the crown, through the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Send the breath all around your back, and as you exhale, rotate. Twisting. And notice, maybe you can twist a little bit more this time than what you would normally do in other classes. Send the left arm further back, anchor through the sit bone, grow tall through the spine. Look at that left hand, even if it's tricky, even if your eyes feel like they're struggling, if it's challenging, keep rotating. Your eyes have been pretty passive, all these screen makers are very passive in your eyes, but you still need to train your eyes and the muscles around them. In and out. Release your hand down. Remember, this is a plant support, a stick that you place close to your plant so your plant can be straight, or your spine can be straight. Anchor through that back hand, but make sure that you don't collapse onto it. It just tells the arm to be extended by the pressure of the hand. And the extended arm tells the spine to also keep lengthening. In and out of the nose. In, out. In, out. Inhale. And as you exhale, come back to center. Extend the leg forward. Hug both knees in. We are arriving into a child's pose for a moment, but then we're going to open through the chest. So coming to child's pose and just feel it in. A little resting position, hands down. Jaw relaxed. Maybe even rolling the forehead on the floor, on your mat from side to side. So we're moving slower down into more stillness. Inhalation. Exhalation. Inhalation. And exhalation. Now place your hands beneath the shoulders, roll back up. We got one more active position before we slow it down and reset and kind of digest all these. So fewer positions, going more in depth. So when you go into a regular class, you actually have much more knowledge, maybe most of the people in the class have, because you've had more time to really understand what's going on and which body parts to actually move how, right? And you have time to ask more questions about these ones later on. Now, another position is very common, Bhujangasana. We're going to do a version of this one because we're going to cover the actual Bhujangasana half and full in another class in the upcoming weeks. Because it's such a complex position, still such a common one. So just to show you in case you're not familiar, we got the small Bhujangasana, we got the full Bhujangasana, but we also have the version where our hands are a bit further forward at the very front of our mat, right? Sometimes they're wider. Sometimes there's tightness in the chest, and then we rotate the fingertips out. Yes, so we're gonna do the one where we kind of shoulder width apart, but just in front of the shoulders a bit more. Roll the shoulders back as you lift up halfway. Inhale. As you exhale, keep lengthening now. Reach your arms into a straight position and then let your arms rotate. So I'll show it a bit more close up here. When you're in that Bhujangasana, keep a bit more in front here and lift off. And then this. It's better to not do yoga at all if this is what you're doing too. So, right? Bend the elbows, move the shoulders away. Hug your armpits in and then lengthen straight arms. Here, the triceps are going forward. Here, the biceps are going forward. So we want to show our biceps, not show the triceps, because this is a heart opening, a back bend. Yes, this is not a heart opening, rather the opposite. Lifting through the chest, keep your hands flat and straight. Use your fingertips, press them down to not have too much weight onto your wrists. Inhalation. Exhale, soften into your lower back. Inhalation. And as you exhale, release all the way down. Send your hands down to the ground and let your hips move back to child's pose. Take a little break here. Inhalation, exhalation. Inhalation, exhalation. Inhaling and exhaling. From here, we are transitioning into our Shavasana. So, in your child's pose, come onto your belly and then just roll over onto your back. Let your palms face upwards. Tap your shoulder blades under the back. Let the skin of the shoulder blades come closer towards each other. Let your feet be at least as wide as your mat and arms about 45-degree angle from the body. Move the chin a bit closer to your chest, lengthen and relax. As you come into your Shavasana, take a slightly deep breath in through the nose and sighing out. Inhale and release through the lips. Inhale and release. One more breath in. Hold. Take one more sip of air. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Releasing, relaxing, letting go. Letting go of any control of your body. Jaw relaxed. Tongue resting at the roof of your mouth. Lips sealed. Let the whole body arrive on the ground. Let the feet fall open. Let the hands rest. Let the back of the head settle into the floor. And let the jaw unclench, just slightly, just enough. And take one more breath in here, a little deeper. And as you exhale, let it be a small release. Let the release maybe show up in your shoulders, maybe a release of the day, or whatever you're holding on the way into this space. Now bring your attention to your feet. Let them go heavy. There's nowhere for them to be, nothing for them to hold. And move the same attention up through the ankles, the calves, knees, heavy. Held by the floor, not held by you. Let it travel into the thighs, hips, lower back. If there's tension there, you don't need to force it out, but just notice that it might be there. And let the ground take a little more of that weight than it was doing a moment ago. Let your floor hold you. Let the earth hold you. Let the belly soften. This is not a held in stomach. There's nothing to hold in right now. Let the breath move it gently on its own. Bring that tension into the chest, the shoulders. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. even if they already have, there's usually a little more room than what we think. Hmm. Down through the arms, into the hands. Let the fingers uncurl. Hmm. And finally, the neck, jaw, the small muscles around the eyes. Let the face go completely neutral, not smiling, not frowning, just still. There's no count to keep, no four in or four out, just whatever rhythm the breath finds on its own, once nobody is asking anything of it. Let the breath be as it is, and notice that the breath doesn't just stop because you stop directing it. It was actually never yours to control, only yours to know it is. Stay here. There's nowhere else to be right now. And slowly begin to deepen the breath. No rush. Start to bring small movements back. Maybe a gentle wiggle of your toes only. And then maybe one finger at a time. And the hands and feet, wrists and ankles moving. And then stretch the arms above the head, lengthen. And when it feels right, only when it feels right, hug the knees into the chest and then roll over to the side. When you're ready, use your hands to press yourself up to seated. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Maybe rest your hands in your lap. I usually keep my left hand at the bottom, the right hand on top, and then the thumbs connected, which is said to let the energy in this position float through the body rather than moving them out, right? Keep your eyes closed. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the settling of the mind into stillness. Palms together in front of your heart. Inhale through your thumbs and hands. And exhale, bowing down to your fingertips. Namaste. So that was our physical practice. Now we might go over a bit of the time because we're very late with the technical issues, but have a sip of tea or water or anything you have around you. We have some closing parts to do. Yeah. So, um, the sutra names the real aim is not a perfect body, but a settled mind, right? So the sutra is the philosophy of yoga. Here, take out your notebooks again and your pen. Okay. One word for what settling feels like tonight, even if briefly. One word for what settling feels like tonight. And if it didn't happen, just write not yet. That's okay as well. Next week, I will ask for something more specific. And we won't return to that for a few weeks actually. So keep tonight's page nearby because this is something that we'll get back into in a few weeks, and then you'll also get some realization from yourself. So my aim is to share the philosophy and the yoga theory, the techniques, but not to teach you all of it and to make you understand it from my perspective or my ways or my teachings, but to help you realize yourself, if that makes sense. Yeah. So guiding you, giving you the tools so that you then later on can notice the answers that are within you. So we still have some time for a Q&A. If you want to write in the chat one word on how the body feels right now. So if you like, jump into the chat and write how the body feels like right now. I'd love to see the impact, if it did any. And if you don't feel like sharing, that's okay as well. Oh yeah, here we go. Good after Shavasana. Yeah, I love that body scan. It really helps you go deeper in. It's like you're dropping even a layer deeper. Soft. Nice. Thank you. I don't know the name of you. Sumanvendara. I don't know your name, but thank you for sharing. Eva, great. Great to hear. Jenny, relax. Nice. Hmm. Um, and then was the breath before the pose different from what you expected? Oh, here we go, Ingela. Not so much in my body, but a bit more accepting mind. Having a bad and rough body day with lots of small pains everywhere, but now I'm more at ease with it all. Amazing. I'm so glad to hear. And that's a good way to end the week, feeling like that in the body after having that rough feeling. Krista is smooth as an animal. Beautiful. Cry to your calm voice. Oh, I'm happy I could release something in the chest that then started flooding out. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Wow. Amazing, amazing feedback. Yeah, was there the breath before the pose? Was it different from what you expected? Like we were working with the breath to like just first expand the right, make it equal. And then when you're starting to work with the breath, moving into the pose, sending it different directions, you enter the physical, the asana position slightly different because your breath is helping your body to give more space. Was that, did it make sense? Was it as expected? Or was any thoughts, any comments around that? If not, you can just write none. Makes sense, Eva says. Nice, good. Yeah. That's why we also can see. I mean, feel free to let me see. I really appreciate the breathing sequence and how you build it all up. Yes, it makes sense. Great. Because I also see that often in more active practices, more faster ones like vinyasa, which is very common in the Western world. And it's probably one of the newest, one of the youngest actual yoga styles, but it requires so much more from you. And I feel like not many people have that foundation of it. That's why I think that a slower practice is more beneficial if you should pick one. And that you can actually go deep into it and get more out of it than just doing something that, is trendy or popular and that just makes you sweat and move a lot. But then at the end of the day, it might not open up that much that you can actually get from the slower one. We didn't do many positions, but we got so much more information around them, and you received so much more information from your body and how you're actually doing that position, and maybe some tweaks and changes on how you can improve it and make it better for you, right? And in a fast-paced class, it's in, out, in and out, and we move so fast that we don't really have time for the body to settle, to um, record what is happening and then get into the next and next. Krista says that's why I like yin yoga. Yeah, I mean, I'm hatha yoga and yin yoga lover. I do teach other classes every now and then when necessary, but if I should just pick two classes for the rest or two styles for the rest of my life, it will be hatha yoga and yin yoga because you got the active one, but it's not stressing you out. It's still challenging you if you hold it long enough, and it's strengthening the body and it's lengthening. And then the yin yoga for the nervous system and the fascia and the connective tissues. So yeah, I'm a big hatha and yin advocate. Um, yes. Hmm. And if you, let me see here. Wow, I wish you feel free to share your name, Zumandwendere. I don't know your name, but you say here in Swedish that with the help, with my help, you got to gain a completely different view of yoga. And that's great to hear. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for allowing me to, make this change or this impact. It's very important because it can be very, very, very messy out there with so many styles, so many studios, so many teachers. I have this rule for myself when I go and dedicate myself to go to a teacher, for example. I will look for someone that has at least a decade of teaching experience, at least 10 years. That is my minimum requirement when I go to a teacher. And I think you should also have that because people can be gymnasts and dancers from previous, younger chapters in life. But when it comes to someone that, practiced for a long time and then taught for a long time, that teacher also has experiences how to deliver in different ways and what ways, after many years of practicing teaching, also finds it meaningful. So yeah, I hold my breath for my breathing 3 or 4 or 5, 6 longer than all yoga teachers teach. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, there's yoga teachers that also teach a stressful class. That's why often, if you find me on the physical classes in Gothenburg, for example, when I do hatha yoga, I say minimum 75. Otherwise, I'm not going to schedule myself up. Hatha yoga, minimum 75 to have time for the meditation, the philosophy, and the breathing and the asana. And then when we have, the other layers, the asana practice becomes better. Rather than jump straight into asana practice for an hour in and out, and then that's it. So yeah, I also when I go to a class, I usually listen, but I don't really follow always. I just adjust it, and then I notice where is my heart rate, where's my body, what do I need. That's why also sometimes I'm a bit further back, depending on the teachers. Yeah, just so I don't also affect other people, but just really do it slowly in my pace. I feel free if any of you want to share something from your notebook lines. You don't have to, but if there's anything that you feel like you want to share that maybe someone else would relate to, yeah, that would be cool. Or if there's any other questions from today's practice, any positions they felt extra challenging, something maybe that you want us to like go even deeper into. We will go into that full Bhujangasana more in detail. It's a position I think I can probably talk about it for half an hour, just that one. So I will make sure we have enough time to really unwrap it. All right. Otherwise, it would be great to let you know if and let me see what is on the schedule for next week. I'm going to give you here the information for next week. So next week's class, let me see, where do where's my schedule? There we go. So we got the second week of arrival, and it's more the integration there. So we do open theory notebook, and we do pranayama practice. We do an asana practice for about 45 minutes, and then we do that guided shavasana. And also the closing theory with a notebook, so that this structure is similar, but different positions and different breathing practices. So we have more time to go into different things rather than to just touch them briefly, which is often what happens in a drop-in yoga class. And then the year map reveal. So that means that you'll get all the information, the schedule, and how the upcoming year is going to look like on these Sunday evening sessions. Yes, so I'm super excited to share that. That's going to be colorful upcoming months. And I will have the technology sorted out. I was super excited to do it at Substack, um, but it was a bit more challenging than expected. I don't know why the technology didn't work with me today, but I will investigate that, and I'm planning to post this video also, so that you can look at it again. You can look at the positions again, or if you just want to do part of the class again, and that should be available. So the aim is to record all the classes and then keep them available as a library at Substack. And from the 1st of August, we got that membership, which is only 12 euros per month, which is basically the same price as one drop-in class in a casual place if you go to a physical class, right? So you get 4 classes, one per week, and you get the articles. So you're going to get an article within 2 days that is connected to this class. So see that as deepening into this practice that we did tonight through that article. Yes. And there'll be one thing to practice, to take out, or maybe to add to your notebook, or just to reflect on. And that starts from the 1st of August, the paid part, and then there you got the library, so all the classes will just fill up. So every week it will just come a new class and a new class, and you have access to all of that. Yes. I find your way of teaching very reassuring and a fresh perspective. Really looking forward to the rest to come, Ingela. Nice. Thank you so much. Um, yes. I've been very picky with my teachers that I go to, and I prefer less, and focusing more their teachings, and apply that into me, rather than jumping too much in between different ones and then kind of getting confused. Before I want to try a lot of different techniques and so on. And now I feel like I find the way that works, and that also works for a lot of different people and different bodies. So yeah, and that's why I got passionate about sharing. There's so many different ways that works for so many different people. Jenny, did you send the schedule for next week? So you should probably have gotten a link from Substack for next week. You probably got for the upcoming 8 weeks. So that should be the link that should work. If I go to my Substack, I see that it's all scheduled. So I really hope that it will work for me. I will do some test run at some point during the week and see how it goes. So maybe you'll see me pop up live in the middle of the week just to try it out. And you're welcome to pop in and say hi if you want then. But just to see so the technology works. And what else? And that's also going to be same time, so 8 o'clock, Sweden time zone. Krista, referring to first question, I have no other place than yoga where I do before. I don't understand that one really. First question. What was my first question maybe? What was my first question? Uh, Something with that was either connected to the breath, how the pose felt like, or how. Oh no, the first question of the class, right? What I asked in the very first beginning. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, got it, got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we go somewhere, we go to a place. It can be physically, or it can be in a mental state when we're not ready for it. Yeah, that part. Nice. Yeah, I mean, there is a different energy before yoga and a different energy after yoga. You see these funny pictures on the internet sometimes where they show like before yoga and the person looks all, messy and tired and angry and frustrated. And it's like, ugh. And then you have after yoga and they're like sipping on their coffee, jumping around with flowers in their hair. And it's kind of, everything is fine. So it's kind of that pre and post yoga energy. And on many times we're more reactive in the pre-yoga rather than post-yoga. As after a yoga class, like, I can miss the tram. I can forget to buy that thing in the store. Or I can be, late for this appointment. It's okay. But before, we're more up here. We're more breathing from here, right? We're more tensed up. So yeah. All right, I feel like I've held you up for a long time and it's getting late. So have some herbal tea, avoid the caffeine, get some honey in it. Don't put the honey in when the water's too hot. Remember that, because then you kill all the benefits with honey. Enjoy it for your last few hours that you're awake. Maybe you're sliding already into your bed right now, and the next week is just around the corner. So keep your eyes open for the article coming up soon in a couple of days in your email box. And then I'm really looking forward to be back live with you guys and practice the next chapter. And also feel free to share this with friends and family if you know someone else who, you've tried to get into yoga. You can send this link, be like, this Sunday is also free, so you should try it out. Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.